You're not broke because you don't earn enough, you're broke because nobody ever taught you the rules of the game. Every single day, millions of Americans wake up, go to work, collect their paycheck, and still end up with nothing left by the end of the month. The scariest part? Most of them have no idea why it keeps happening, and today, we're going to change that forever. Here's a number that should stop you cold. According to a recent Federal Reserve report, nearly 64% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. Let that sink in. We are living in the wealthiest nation on the planet, a country with more millionaires than anywhere else in the world, and yet the average American is one car repair away from financial disaster. How is that even possible? How does someone work 40, 50, sometimes even 60 hours a week and still have nothing to show for it at the end of the month? The answer is not laziness. It is not bad luck. And it is absolutely not about how much money you make. The truth is far more dangerous than that, and far more fixable than you think. What is really keeping Americans broke is something deeply embedded in the system around them, in the culture they grew up in, and in the financial habits they were never warned about. Most people spend their entire lives following a script that was written for them by banks, corporations, and a consumer culture designed to keep money flowing out of their pockets and into someone else's. And the worst part? They follow this script willingly, because they simply do not know there is another way. In this video, we are going to break down the number one mistake that is keeping 90% of Americans financially stuck, not just stuck, but trapped in a cycle that gets harder and harder to escape with every passing year. We are going to go deep. We are going to get specific. And by the time this video is over, you are going to see your financial life through a completely different lens. So if you have ever wondered why your bank account never seems to grow no matter how hard you work, stay with me, because what comes next might be the most important thing you hear all year. Let's start with something nobody wants to admit. Most Americans are not broke because they are spending money on useless things, they are broke because they are spending money on things that look completely normal. Things that society told them were signs of success. A nice car. A big house. The latest iPhone. Dinner out on weekends. Vacations on credit cards. A closet full of clothes they wear twice. None of these things feel like mistakes when you are buying them. In fact, they feel like rewards. They feel like proof that you are doing well. And that is exactly the problem. America has built an entire culture around the idea that spending money is the same thing as succeeding. You got a raise. Buy a better car. You move to a new city. Get a bigger apartment. You hit a milestone. Celebrate with a trip you cannot afford. This cycle has a name, and it is called lifestyle inflation. And it is one of the most silent, most dangerous financial killers in this country. Here is how it works. Every time your income goes up, your expenses go up with it, sometimes even faster. You start earning $50,000 a year and you live like someone earning $50,000. Then you get promoted to $70,000, and instead of saving that extra $20,000, you upgrade your life to match. New car payment. Higher rent. Better restaurants. More subscriptions. And suddenly, you are earning more than you ever have, and saving less than you ever did. The number in your paycheck gets bigger, but the number in your savings account stays exactly the same. This is not a coincidence. This is by design. Companies spend billions of dollars every single year studying human psychology, figuring out exactly how to make you feel like you deserve to spend. Advertisements do not sell you products. They sell you an identity. They tell you that you are the kind of person who drives this car, wears these shoes, lives in this neighborhood. And the moment you believe that story, your wallet is already open. The average American household spends over $1,000 a year just on subscriptions they forgot they signed up for. Not luxuries. Not big purchases. Just slow, quiet, automatic charges bleeding out every single month while you sleep. Now let's talk about the weapon that has done more damage to American wallets than anything else in modern history. The credit card. And before you say, "I use my credit card responsibly," just hear this out, because the system behind it is far more manipulative than most people ever realize. Credit cards were not designed to help you manage money. They were designed to make spending feel painless. Think about it. When you hand over cash for something, you feel it. There is a psychological weight to watching physical money leave your hand. Studies have shown that people who pay with cash consistently spend less than people who pay with cards, sometimes up to 83% less on the same purchase. Because cash makes the pain of spending real. But when you swipe a card, nothing. No pain. No loss. Just a number on a screen that you will deal with later. And later is exactly where the trap is waiting for you. The average American carries over $6,000 in credit card debt. And the average credit card interest rate right now is sitting above 20%. Do you understand what that means in real numbers? If you have $6,000 in credit card debt and you are only making minimum payments every month, you will be paying that debt off for over 17 years. And you will pay nearly double the original amount by the time it is gone. You did not just buy something. You bought it twice. But here is the part that truly makes this system diabolical. Credit card companies do not want you to pay off your balance. They want you to carry it. They want you to make just enough payment to stay afloat, but never enough to actually get free. That is why minimum payments exist. Not to help you. To keep you locked in. And they make it incredibly easy to stay in that trap. One-click checkout. Buy now, pay later. 0% interest for the first 6 months, and then a brutal rate that kicks in the moment you forget. Every single feature of a credit card is engineered by teams of psychologists and financial experts whose only job is to keep you spending and keep you owing. And the most dangerous part of all? Having credit card debt in America is so common that people have stopped seeing it as a problem. It has become normal. Expected. Almost invisible. And that normalization, that quiet acceptance that debt is just part of life, is exactly what keeps millions of Americans financially stuck year after year after year. Here is a question that should make every American angry. You spent 12 years in school. You learned algebra. You learned the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. You learned the dates of wars that ended centuries ago. But did anyone, even once, sit you down and teach you how to build a budget? How compound interest works? How to file your taxes? How to negotiate a salary? How to invest your first $100? No. And that was not an accident. The American school system was originally designed during the industrial era, built to create good workers, not wealthy individuals. The goal was never to teach you how to build wealth. The goal was to teach you how to show up on time, follow instructions, and trade your hours for a paycheck. And that system has never truly changed. According to a 2024 survey, only 25 states in America require high school students to take a personal finance course before graduating. That means in half of this country, an 18-year-old can walk out of school knowing nothing about money, and immediately be handed a credit card, a student loan, and a lease agreement. We throw teenagers into the deep end of the financial world without ever teaching them how to swim. And then we wonder why they drown. The result is a generation of adults who are highly educated but completely financially illiterate. People with college degrees who do not know the difference between an asset and a liability. People earning 6 figures who have never heard of an index fund. People who worked hard their entire lives and arrived at retirement with almost nothing saved because nobody ever showed them a different way. And here is what makes it even worse. The people who do learn about money, they learn it at home. Which means if you grew up in a wealthy household, you got the knowledge. If you did not, you were left to figure it out on your own. Financial literacy in America is not just an education problem. It is an equality problem. And until that changes, the cycle will keep repeating itself, generation after generation after generation. There is one sentence that has quietly destroyed more financial futures than any recession, any stock market crash, or any economic crisis in American history. And that sentence is, "I'll start saving later." It sounds harmless. It sounds responsible even, like you are being realistic about where you are right now. You tell yourself you will start investing when you get that promotion. You will build an emergency fund when things slow down a little. You will get serious about money when you are older and more stable. But here is the brutal truth that nobody warns you about. Later is the most expensive word in the English language. And the reason comes down to one of the most powerful forces in all of personal finance: compound interest. Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And once you understand how it works, you will never look at time the same way again. Here is a real example. If a 25-year-old starts investing just $200 a month with an average annual return of 8%, by the time they reach 65, they will have over $700,000. But if that same person waits just 10 years and starts at 35 instead, investing the exact same $200 a month at the exact same return, they will end up with only around $290,000. Same amount invested every month. Same interest rate. The only difference is 10 years. And that 10-year delay cost them over $400,000. That is not a small gap. That is a life-changing difference. That is the difference between retiring comfortably and working into your 70s. That is the difference between financial freedom and financial fear. And yet millions of Americans keep pushing that start date further and further into the future, not because they are irresponsible, but because nobody ever showed them this math. Nobody ever made it real for them. The system never sat them down and said, "Every single month you wait is costing you thousands of dollars you will never get back. Time is the one resource that cannot be earned back, borrowed, or replaced. And every day you spend saying, 'I'll start later,' is a day of compounding growth that is gone forever." There is a silent competition happening all across America every single day. And most people do not even realize they are playing. Your neighbor buys a new car, suddenly your old one feels embarrassing. Your coworker goes on a vacation to Europe, suddenly your staycation feels like failure. Your friend moves into a bigger house, suddenly your apartment feels like you are falling behind. This is the Joneses effect. And it is costing Americans billions of dollars every single year. Social comparison is not a new concept. Humans have always measured themselves against the people around them. But something changed dramatically in the last 15 years. Social media turned that comparison into a 24-hour highlight reel. Every time you open Instagram or TikTok, you are not seeing real life. You are seeing the absolute best moments of people's lives, the vacations, the outfits, the dinners, the cars. Nobody posts their credit card statement. Nobody shows you the debt behind the dream. But your brain does not know that. Your brain sees that lifestyle and immediately starts measuring your own life against it. And that feeling of falling behind, that anxiety of not being enough, is exactly what drives people to spend money they do not have on things they do not need to impress people they do not even know. Studies have shown that people who use social media heavily are significantly more likely to overspend, carry debt, and have lower savings rates than those who do not. The comparison trap is not just an emotional problem. It has a direct and measurable impact on your bank account. The most dangerous part is that the people you are trying to keep up with are often just as broke as you are, just better at hiding it. That luxury car is leased. That dream vacation went on a credit card. That perfect home has a mortgage that keeps them up at night. Everyone is performing wealth while quietly drowning in debt. And the moment you stop playing that game, the moment you decide that your financial goals matter more than other people's opinions, everything starts to change. In America, talking about money is considered rude. Asking someone their salary is taboo. Discussing debt feels shameful. Admitting you are struggling financially is seen as weakness. And that silence is keeping millions of people broke. Think about it. If nobody talks about money openly, how does anyone ever learn? You cannot fix a problem you are too embarrassed to admit exists. You cannot ask for help with something you are too ashamed to bring up. And you cannot learn from others when everyone around you is pretending everything is fine. This cultural silence around money is not accidental. It benefits the people at the top. When workers do not discuss salaries with each other, employers can underpay them without anyone noticing. When people feel ashamed about debt, they are less likely to seek help and more likely to keep making the same mistakes alone. When financial struggle feels like a personal failure rather than a systemic issue, people blame themselves instead of questioning the system. The wealthy have no problem talking about money. They discuss investments at dinner. They share financial strategies openly. They pass wealth knowledge down to their children without hesitation. But in middle-class and working-class households across America, money is a topic that gets avoided, whispered about, or never brought up at all. And that information gap between those who talk about money and those who do not is one of the biggest reasons the wealth divide in this country keeps growing wider every single year. Breaking this silence is not just uncomfortable, it is necessary. Talking openly about salaries, debt, savings, and financial mistakes is how communities learn, grow, and protect each other. The moment you normalize money conversations in your own life is the moment you stop suffering in silence and start making real progress. Here is a simple question. Do you know exactly how much money you need to retire comfortably? Do you know how much you are spending every month on food, entertainment, and subscriptions? Do you know where your money goes between the 1st and the 30th? If the answer is no, you are not alone. The majority of Americans are moving through their financial lives completely blind. No budget. No savings goal. No retirement target. No plan whatsoever. And you cannot reach a destination you have never defined. A study found that people who write down their financial goals are 42% more likely to actually achieve them than people who do not. That is not a small difference. That is almost double the success rate, just from having a clear target. But most Americans never set financial goals at all. They wake up every month hoping there will be something left over after the bills are paid. And hope is not a financial strategy. Without a plan, your money will always find somewhere to disappear. Without a budget, every purchase feels justified in the moment. Without a savings target, there is always a reason to spend instead of save. The people who build real wealth are not always the smartest or the highest earners. They are the ones who decided exactly where they wanted to go, and then built a clear road to get there. A simple written budget. A specific savings goal. A basic investment plan. These are not complicated things. But they are things that most Americans never sit down to actually do. And that missing plan, that absence of direction, is silently costing them their entire financial future. Everything we have talked about so far, the lifestyle inflation, the credit card trap, the broken education system, the comparison culture, the financial silence, the missing plan, all of it comes down to one single root cause. The way most Americans think about money. And until that thinking changes, nothing else will. Most people in this country have what financial experts call a scarcity mindset. They see money as something that comes and goes. Something that is always running out. Something that is meant to be spent the moment it arrives. They think wealth is reserved for lucky people. For people born into the right families. For people who got the right opportunities. And because they believe that, they never truly commit to building it. They dabble. They try a budget for 2 weeks and quit. They open a savings account and drain it the first time something comes up. They tell themselves they will get serious about money later, and later never comes. But the people who actually break the cycle think completely differently. They do not see money as something to enjoy today. They see it as a tool to build freedom tomorrow. They do not ask, what can I buy with this? They ask, what can this money do for me if I let it grow? That shift sounds simple. But it is the difference between spending your entire life working for money, and eventually having your money work for you. Here is what that mindset looks like in practice. Instead of upgrading your lifestyle every time your income increases, you upgrade your investments. Instead of financing a new car to look successful, you drive something modest and put the difference into an index fund. Instead of buying things that make you feel rich, you make decisions that actually make you rich. It also means accepting short-term discomfort for long-term freedom. It means saying no to things that feel good today so you can say yes to things that matter tomorrow. And it means stopping the comparison game completely, because the only financial journey that matters is your own. The wealthiest people in America are not the ones driving the flashiest cars or living in the biggest houses. They are the ones who made quiet, disciplined, consistent decisions with their money over a long period of time. No shortcuts. No overnight success. Just a different way of thinking, applied every single day until the results became impossible to ignore. You do not need to be born rich to build wealth. You do not need a perfect income or a perfect situation. You need a decision. A real, committed, non-negotiable decision that your financial future matters more than how you look to the people around you. And that decision starts not in your bank account, but in your mind. So let us bring everything together. You are not broke because you are lazy. You are not broke because you do not earn enough. You are broke because the system around you was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you spending, keep you borrowing, and keep you too distracted to notice what was really happening to your money. The lifestyle inflation that feels like success. The credit card debt that feels normal. The education system that never taught you the basics. The social media comparison that drives you to spend. The silence around money that keeps you stuck. The missing plan that leaves your future to chance. These are not personal failures. They are traps. And the first step to escaping any trap is simply seeing it for what it is. You have done that today. But information without action is just entertainment. So here is what I want you to do right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Write down one financial goal. Just one. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be big. Just make it real and make it specific. Because that one decision, that one moment of clarity, could be the turning point that changes the entire direction of your financial life. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. If this video opened your eyes in any way, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment below telling me the one money mistake you are committing to leaving behind. And if you are serious about taking control of your finances, subscribe, because we are just getting started. Your financial future is not written yet. And the next chapter, that one is entirely up to you.